I retired at 40, but it wasn't because I graduated with first class honors in mechanical engineering or that I got a great job in finance or because I invested in a diversified portfolio. That got me nowhere. I'm Emlyn, and multiple 5 to 30x stock picks changed my life. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 truths I realized that showed me the traditional path was broken, and I'll give you the framework that replaced it. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right and still not getting where you want to be, the problem isn't you, it's the advice. 1. Hard work in the wrong direction will make you feel stuck. Most of us were told the story growing up. Get a good education and you'll land a great job. Work hard and you'll earn promotions and lots of money. Invest some of that money in compound interest accounts or a diversified portfolio and your wealth will compound. Follow this and you'll retire young and happy. I did it. But as work hours stayed long and my personal life was sidelined, I realized that the money I earned wouldn't lead to that early retirement or the happiness. If anything, working long hours for decades meant that health would eventually be sacrificed too. Now, I was fortunate to land a role in trading and spent 18 years as a foreign exchange and fixed income options trader. I was earning well, but I also supported family from the day I started working, and bonuses were capped and deferred. The numbers weren't adding up to retiring young, healthy, and happy. And the main problem with sacrificing now to one day retire happy is that at some point your life becomes a life of sacrifice. Worse, as I looked around me at people who were a few years ahead of me in their careers, most people were living some version of sacrificing now so that they could provide a good life to their family and one day retire comfortably. Those are important and meaningful goals. But surely the better option is to work hard in the direction you want to go in, that you'll enjoy while doing it and will bring you the meaningful rewards you want. The lesson: it doesn't matter how much you pride yourself on working hard, if you're going in the wrong direction, you won't get to where you want to be. Feeling stuck, strained relationships, and worse health are signals of this. If you're going to get to where you want, you have to change direction, a direction in which retiring young is a possible reality. Then take active steps to get there. 2. Mainstream advice fails for specific reasons. When you find out why, the right path becomes obvious. Most mainstream advice for building wealth tells you to look at real estate, compound interest accounts, dividend-paying stocks, or index funds. I considered all of them too, but I saw each one breaking a principle that would lead to trouble later. The main problem with real estate is that the more money you make from it, most of the time, the more unaffordable it becomes to people who need homes to live in. That a successful real estate business often contributes to others' misery did not sit well with me. The only compound interest that comes with no risk is a government bond. Over the long term, these bonds do not pay enough interest to beat inflation and taxes. Why do you ask? The answer is simple. At some point, having too much debt becomes a problem for the government. They then have the easy option of simply printing more money, which causes more inflation and destroys your money. This is how every currency since the invention of fiat money eventually dies. For dividend-paying stocks, most people naturally look for stocks that pay high, reliable dividends over a long period of time. The downside most people don't take into account is that it typically comes from companies that have operated largely the same for many years. Meaning they are no longer innovating or launching new products that customers love and creates new wealth. This is a problem because it leaves them vulnerable to disruption. Companies that come out of nowhere, innovate and launch products people love regularly destroys entire businesses before everyone realizes what's happening. If just one of your dividend-paying stocks gets disrupted, it destroys the returns of an entire portfolio. Index funds suffer the same problem as dividend-paying stocks because most companies are no longer innovative today. We can see this in how they spend most of their money on share buybacks or dividends and then cut costs, mostly by cutting people so they can repeat the cycle again. And buying an ETF of growth or tech companies is not that simple because we live in a world where most of the time the winner takes all, and an ETF of innovation stocks will contain many companies that will not be the winner. So what's left? After trying all these options except real estate, there was only one left. Most wealth is created by innovative companies that come out of nowhere. If I was to create life-changing wealth for myself, I would need to put in some work into who the winners would be. I would need to answer the question, who are the companies creating new, valuable products for customers and will remain valuable 5, 10, and 20 years from now? I would put my money there. The lesson: mainstream advice for building wealth are just great ways to save. Most wealth is created by innovative companies that come out of nowhere. To build life-changing wealth, you have to put some work into finding them, then take some risk and invest in them. 3. Without an edge, trading and investing is just gambling. Nowadays, markets trade almost 24/7 and there are countless platforms that offer leverage. You can buy and sell minutes later and make huge sums of money. And a lot of people fall for this temptation. Before I figured out what worked, I tried it. In fact, this was where I thought my degree in mechanical engineering would help me. I know a lot of math, thought I was smart and I could figure it out. I tried all the usual things: technical analysis, trend following, momentum trading, trading breaks, Japanese candlesticks. A few big early wins even had my confidence explode. But over time, wins and losses mostly cancelled out, and it came with a lot of stress. It's not what I had in mind for building financial peace of mind. So I went down the rabbit hole trying to understand why, and I eventually did. Short-term traders who make money have an edge. Some traders fly drones over retail parking lots to see where the business is good. With that information, they bet on the next earnings report. Another example are traders who make a huge effort to install their servers next to a stock exchange. They use the benefit of having a low latency to the exchange to run algorithms that execute trades a fraction quicker than anyone else. I can go on, but the point is, a retail trader sitting at home with just their computer has no edge. Trading with no edge is no different to being at a casino. That's why more than 90% of retail traders lose money. This idea of an edge is bigger than trading. It's what makes any business succeed where others fail. Think about it. If you're doing the same thing everyone else is, then what you're producing is a commodity. Having an edge is what allows Apple to dominate the premium phone market. Having an edge in efficient manufacturing is what allows China to mass produce most things at a scale and cost no one else can compete with. So if I was to successfully invest for life-changing returns, I needed to find my edge. The lesson: the potential to make lots of money quickly is tempting and also an illusion. The old adage, there is no such thing as a free lunch, holds. To make money without relying on chance or luck, you have to have an edge. 4. Creating real value is the only thing that compounds. Once you've gone through all the things I've already mentioned, only one thing remained: betting on unique and undeniable value creation from innovative companies. And my first stop was Tesla. This is where I found my edge. I had been excited about Tesla for a while, and everyone knew the EV revolution would come someday. Most people just thought that Tesla was too small and lacked resources to go up against auto giants like VW, Toyota, and GM. And here my engineering degree probably benefited me somewhat, because I was able to go through everything they claimed, understand it, and verify it. That includes patents and other technical documents they filed, and I realized they had a lot of special things going for it. What I understood was that an electric car is more different to an ICE car than a digital camera is to a film camera. For an EV to work, it's like you have 10 digital cameras working together to replace an ICE car that is built with 10 film cameras. The electric motor compared to the ICE engine, the magnets in that motor compared to the piston in an engine, the single cooling system Tesla had for everything compared to the up to 8 an ICE car has. To me, it was clear Tesla was creating enormous value for the people buying their cars as they were more efficient, reliable, and cheaper to run over the long term. That they were faster and more fun to drive were almost added on bonuses. This was my edge when most mainstream media was saying the opposite. I just needed to be comfortable that they could execute on their plan. They had almost gone bankrupt a few times and Model 3 production was late. And since society had a critical need for EVs, especially because of climate change, investing in Tesla was almost a no-brainer. If I could summarize all my work on Tesla to 3 questions that needed to be answered, it would be: did Tesla create real value? Was the need from society large? And could Tesla execute? The answer to the first 2 questions was an undeniable yes. The third required me to be comfortable with Elon's manic leadership style. I listened to a lot of interviews of Elon, and in 2019, we were months away from Model 3 production hitting high volumes. The Model 3 would be the vehicle that allowed Tesla to become a mass manufacturer on a global scale. I had done enough work on Tesla to feel comfortable that the rewards of Tesla getting it right was worth the risk. So I bought it at 1580 in June 2019 when the narrative around them was at its worst. It became my first more than 10x return, not because I predicted the stock price, but because I understood what they were building and the environment they were operating in. The lesson: when you build your investing thesis around products people genuinely need, love, and built by teams that can deliver, you give yourself a real shot of massive returns. This is the foundation. Everything else, PE ratios, EBITDA, and other financial metrics, are secondary. While a lot of it can be important, it is just financial engineering and noise if the foundation is missing. 5. A repeatable framework beats luck and betting. There are tons of people who get a few trades right, and we are tempted to join in. But we are biased to remember the most successful bets and ignore the countless failures. When I looked at the people I admire most, Warren Buffett, the ideas in the infinite game, and the art of war, one theme runs through all of them. There is no finish line, no moment where you say, I've won, it's over. Instead, it's the framework you filter decisions through that determines whether you make progress over time. Because there are always higher levels to unlock. When you improve your process, you unlock those levels. So after Tesla, I stuck to that process. I bought Palantir at 926 and sold it at 123.95, a 13.3 times return. I also bought SoFi at 676 and Bitcoin at 19k. None of this was luck. These were all based on buying into companies that are innovative, from outside the mainstream, and creates real value. They were in sectors where incumbents were either too slow or too comfortable to respond. In the case of Bitcoin, it was an idea, but everything else still applied. After repeating the framework a few times, I condensed it into an equation. Opportunity equals value created times need by society times executionability. Three things need to be true at the same time. The company has to make something people genuinely want. The world has to actually need it, and you have to have confidence that they can deliver. If you want a detailed breakdown of it, I'll leave a link to the video below. What makes this framework different is that it doesn't ask you to predict where stock price will be in 3 months or 3 years. Nobody knows that, especially in a world filled with disruption, conflict, and geopolitical risk. But when you understand the environment and do the work to understand a company, you know whether it will thrive. And you'll make much more consistent returns over a long time frame investing in them. It's like no one knows what the weather is going to be like on the White Mountains of California on any specific day next winter. But we know the climate. It's pretty harsh. And if you pick a bristlecone pine tree to plant there, it thrives for thousands of years while everything around it dies. Repeating this formula brought me the life-changing returns I needed to retire at 40. I still use it today. In the last few months, I've put money into MSTR using the same framework. I'll probably do a deep dive on that in the coming weeks. The lesson: a principle-based framework beats luck because it's reliable, repeatable, and robust. It benefits from surprises and volatility because it gives you confidence to buy when others panic. Final thoughts. Those are the 5 truths that over time became part of my mindset. It's what led me to a framework for reliable investing and allowed me to retire at 40. I've started making content about this now because I think others can benefit from it. Others who feel stuck the way I was. Others who are doing everything right and still not getting where they want to be. And I think this moment, right now, is the right time. AI, disruption, and conflict are changing our world in ways we don't fully understand. The idea that a 40-year compound interest plan built on a stable world will still be intact when you're 65 feels naive. Our world today makes that impossible to ignore. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Here's the video where I break down my framework into more detail. It goes through how to find 10x opportunities, when to buy, how much to buy, and when to sell. It includes a deep dive into SoFi, which is one of my largest positions. I'll be launching a newsletter in the coming months where I dive deeper and give more details on my portfolio to show this works. There's a link below to sign up if you're interested. Thanks for watching till the end. Good luck.